Here in the Andean highlands of Peru, farmers are growing a crop that's been a staple of this region since the Incas inhabited this land. But now, with changing climate posing a threat to vital food crops, scientists are focusing on the potato as a means to adapt to the threat to the globe's food security. Most of the world's estimated 5,000 varieties of potato are native to Peru. Dr. Pamela Anderson, who heads the International Potato Center in Lima, says that world leaders meeting in Copenhagen need to see the link between climate change, agriculture, and food security.
Our biggest concern right now as we look at Copenhagen is if you look at all of the briefing notes that are coming out, the preparations, the negotiations that are going on, we don't hear agriculture as part of the conversation. It will be even more difficult to produce food for our growing population if we don't get the crops ready for climate change.
Farmers in the Andes like Leoncio Gallardo, who are on the front lines of food security, say that right now they are concerned about the decrease in rain. Gallardo has farmed for decades on his land in Jauja, part of the Montaro Valley, and says his crops are already affected by erratic rainfall.
Nos preocupa a todo el mundo, porque este cambio climático
We are all worried because of this climate change. The rainy season is unstable. There are times it rains and other times it doesn't. Right now, we are happy. We're harvesting. It could be that in the month of December, we may have summer weather. The temperatures have risen, and that's a problem.
Claro, la temperatura se ha elevado ya. Entonces, es un problema.
Pedro Torres, who also grows potatoes nearby, says it has changed the schedule he once counted on for his yield.
Working the fields is very worrisome for us right now because of the climate change. For instance, this year the rain has been late to come. Normally, the rainy season starts between the end of September and beginning of October. Now the rains come around the middle of November and delaying us. You can see this climate change is affecting our crops.
Scientists suggest that the potato can play a key role in addressing this problem. They say it has a relatively high yield for the amount of land and water needed to grow it, and can be modified to adjust to changing conditions. Anderson says that it is especially important at a time when expanding land use is no longer viable.
One of the things that we're seeing now in the data is that there is not a lot of new land that we can pull into agricultural production.
To this end, scientists at the Potato Center in Lima grow potatoes for research in their on-site fields and greenhouses, experimenting with varied conditions and tweaking the plant to change. They want to know how this versatile crop can be made more durable to help meet the world's food needs. A field station in Huancayo, also part of the Montaro Valley, is dedicated to working with the varieties specific to this area, where they have observed changes in both the climate and the altitude at which crops will naturally grow.
We have a project in the high plateau where we have tested several of these varieties at 4,000 meters above sea level and under climate variability and change, and we can at least double the yield of potato for those peoples, where potato is the base of their food security, is a staple food for them.
Though no one has proposed a panacea to the issue of global warming and food security, Quiroz says there needs to be a two-sided approach to addressing what is already happening, while trying to slow its progress.
A lot of people debate on mitigation and adaptation. A lot of us believe that these are the two sides of the same coin. So you have to work with both of them at the same time.
It's a lesson Pedro Torres has already learned, with some of his potatoes not growing as well as he would have hoped so far this season.
What we have to do now is delay our harvesting, waiting a little longer to plant and hope it will adapt to the climate, which is not recommended. As you can see, this is premature and growing uneven because of lack of rain. When it rains constantly, it all grows evenly. We have to adapt to the changes.
As leaders prepare to address the issue of climate change in Copenhagen, researchers and farmers continue their partnership in encouraging the viability of the potato crop. And whether or not agriculture is prominent on the agenda of world leaders in Denmark, growers in places like Peru will be watching the sky for signs of how the world's shifting climate will affect their livelihoods.